good.
Hi, welcome to another segment of KISS. Keep it simple, sir. Keep it simple, senorita. Keep it simple, sisters, and thanks of God. Surely we have another great production coming your way. Praise God, and some very special people from our community once again honoring, thinking about upcoming the African American Cultural Fest. And today with us we have some of the leaders, the CEO. And praise God, we also have someone that's in charge of everything. And I'm Fred. You're not coming to take my job today, are you?
No, not today.
She is so active today throughout the community in so many different areas. We want you to introduce yourself, Miss Ashley Bass, and then again we'll go to Mr. Marion Shackelford, and then we get the show on the road, get started here.
My name is Ashley Bass. I am the logistics coordinator for the Dayton African American Culture Festival. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about myself. If you want to be a part, contact me, I guess.
Marlon Shackelford, president of the Dayton African American Culture Festival. And I'm excited to be here. Of course, y'all know I feel real good. And as Vinay Pate would say, real good show enough.
Praise God. We're glad to have both of you here. And you're such a blessing. I always have to pick out a biblical scripture to support the subjects that we have. And today I thought about Jeremiah, the 6th chapter and 16th verse. It said, "Thus says the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old path. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and you shall find rest for your souls." Why did I pick that? Because the theme for our cultural festival this year, you might help me pronunciate that, it's Sankofa?
Yeah.
Sankofa, okay, praise God. Yeah. And that is a theme for the Black Cultural Fest this year.
Yeah.
And it's very educational because I got a chance to learn a little something myself. Praise God. And that is a word in the Akan, Twi, and Fanta languages of Ghana that translate meaning to retrieve, literally to go back and get. San means to return, and ko to go, and fa to fetch, and I guess I'm getting all that together.
Yes.
Seek and take. And it's also referred to bono adrinkra, a symbol, a styles, a heart shape, or is also something like a bird.
That looks bad.
Yes, and it has the head turned backwards, the feet going forward. Oh boy, I've been trying to get my homework together. And it also carries that precious egg in its mouth. Yeah. Now, this Sankofa bird appears frequently in traditional Akan art and has also been adopted as an important symbol in the African American and African diaspora context to represent the need to reflect on the past, to build a successful future. It is one of the most highly dispersed Adinkara, and I guess that's right, symbols appearing in modern jewelry, tattoo, and clothing. And it's so much, I'm thinking we see so many things of African art when we go past African shows, but how many people really know what they stand for, what it means?
Yeah.
And I believe that is something that you are going with your cultural fest to educate the public about some of the things that we see so often, some of the things we see weird, some of the things in art. And I even learned, what's their name? Janet Jackson has a tattoo. And on one of her album covers also in reference to this bird and so forth.
Yeah, it's a cool.
Yes. So the thing is, I'm not going to here to do all the talking, but I'm not going to let you host either. But now, you know, it's so beautiful. Let me tell you something. You all know, Marlon, and I know you know her, and you probably know her. His niece, whether you knew that or not, was his niece. But this young lady has a long line of things that she's involved in. Yeah. And even though this is Black Culture Fest coming up, may I share a few things since she didn't introduce herself? This young lady at Communities in School of Ohio, Capella University of Clayton, Ohio, event coordinator in public relations, independent contractor, consultant, art teacher.
Not anymore. I'm case manager now for Communities and Schools.
Well, it's still in there.
So you was on my LinkedIn page.
And being able to create lesson plans, carry out art projects according to the ODE standard. What I'm letting you know, this is not just something that she fell into. She's highly and well qualified in this thing to put together for the African American Cultural Fest. Somebody seems to know what they're doing. She's a building sub.
Not anymore.
Well,
Those are old titles.
You remember the old saying about ragu soup? It's in there.
It's in there. Okay, you're right.
So therefore, when you need to call upon those things, they're in there.
They are.
All right, and so many beautiful things that God bless you. Teacher, substitute teacher, customer service representative with Time Warner, is that right?
Yeah, I used to back in the day before I had my son.
She sounds like she's 90 years old.
I know it. She's young.
Back in the day.
She's young.
I mean, that's a long time ago. That was
Assistant store manager, customer service supervisor, car hop. You was a car hop? Do you remember the days when they used to come out on roller skates? To the car?
Yeah, we was on roller skates.
Did you all do that?
Yeah, we did at Sonic. We was on roller skates.
Was that you back in the 60s when I used to?
Nah, not back in the 60s. Early 2000s, 2008.
But you have been involved in so much, right? State public relation coordinator and Colony Gamma Sigma National Service Sorority. Well, see, a lot of my friends there are Deltas, so.
Yeah, we're not D9. We're a customer service. We're a community service sorority. Yeah, so we do community service.
Okay, so as far as we're talking about, you're a logistic coordinator for African American Cultural Festival this year.
Yes.
And a site coordinator for community schools.
Yes, that is my current job title.
Okay, and you're a board member for the Dayton African
American Cultural Festival.
American Cultural Festival.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop out because you guys see I got so much here. It take the rest of the day to tell you about.
My whole resume there.
Tell you about this young lady here. I have so much homegrown, and you thought Marlon was the only one that did all those things. Well, tell us a little bit more. Now I know it's something about getting the community to understand, and it's always about the old path. And even from the church standpoint, I'm looking at, we are trying to get so hard and away from, we're losing so much, regardless of where we go if we don't have a foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I was an engineer for 30 years, operating engineer, and we understand what it takes about foundation of building a roadway and so forth. We look at it today as a special building, but the Leaning Tower of Pisa, because they did not do the foundation as they should. Sometimes you go into some of these large buildings, new buildings, a crack in the lobby. You know why? It all has to do with the foundation. What am I talking about? Because what you are now trying to do is rebuild a foundation in our young people, in our community, that they know and understand. This is something that have kept us. If you don't know where you come from, how do you know where you're going?
Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from. I'm just getting started so you guys can take over.
Yeah.
But it's not just something we're doing. It's not just something for entertainment, although you can be entertained in the African Cultural Festival. But it's more to the Cultural Festival than just being entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the start is to say, when I think about the Culture Festival, a couple things. One of the things that I think about is hip hop. And there's an expression by a friend, KRS-One, who's a mogul in this rap industry, and he titled this edutainment. And edutainment is education via entertainment. That's the Culture Festival. So the Culture Festival is really edutainment, where I like to say we rap, which is an acronym that we review the past, we analyze the present, and we plan for the future. So that bird that's moving forward, looking back with the egg in his mouth, but the bird is moving forward. It's learning from the past, right? Learning from the past and moving into the future and working for the future, because we have to work for the future. Now you gave a scripture, I'll give another scripture. Where there is no vision, the people did what?
Perish.
I heard somebody say you could have division. Or right? Or vision.
Yes.
And I think it was T.D. Jakes. And if you don't know your history, that's division. So we're trying to wake people up. You know, Spike Lee would say, wake up. I understand, because when he's talking about wake up, he's talking about we should have never went to sleep.
Yes.
We too far behind the 8 ball to go to sleep.
Yes.
And the wake up is a conscious wake up. So when you come to that culture festival and we're talking about that village, one of the first things that we talk about, Amaha and myself, is operational unity. Unify and uplift. That's what it has to be about. It's a lot of great things that's taking place this summer, but the culture festival is not a cult, it's a culture festival.
Yes.
And so it's a place for people to come to talk about art, to talk about education, to talk about health awareness, to really say, okay, here's them 3 days that we're using to last us the other 362 days. But if you don't know that, you lost in the sauce, as the rapper once said. So we don't want to be lost in the sauce. We want to be conscious of our history, our story. Because, you know, we got historians. We also have our historians who tells our story. And we got some of the best. You know, Mama, I can go down the line. Mama Crow. We got some of the Bean Davis, Margaret Peters, who's the queen mother. Margaret Peters. We got some of the best. So that's it. We want to tell our story. We want to take that day. We go back, we church folks. It's a revival for us. So those 3 days of the Culture Festival is like a revival. We want to be renewed. You know, what do they say? You have to bounce back. That's the way that we bounce back. We partner. One of the things that we're doing is a calendar for 365 days. We're going to reveal this calendar to let people know here's the events that's happening that leads up to this walk into the Culture Festival.
And, you know, I'm glad he said that, because sometimes even some of your own local people, I mean, African American, they see us dressed this way, they think it's some type of cult. They think it's some type of religious type of thing. And that's why it's important that they will come out and learn more about what it's about. People gossip about a lot of things they don't have any idea about. That's why I brought you two beautiful people here to do the rest of the work for me today. And share. It is your job.
You need to come to our meetings. You'll like our meetings. Because, you know, one of the things that we have in our meetings, people understand why we get along, because we kind of understand this thing, you know, you get them laughing, you get them listening. And what I love about our meetings is that we're not serious. We're not fun. We're serious fun. We're serious, but we have fun, because once we stop laughing, we stop healing, we stop loving, and I don't want to be a part of it. They can take this job because it's about, I mean, I am serious. You know, I don't take it that serious, but I do take the culture. I do think that you know, one of the things I always say about young men, when I teach young men, I say we were born males, not men. We will become men when we learn the art and science of manhood. We have to learn the art and science, and that's one of the things you can get from the Culture Festival is the art and the science. I'll shut up.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. I'm just thinking.
Go ahead.
You're telling me. I'm thinking you sound like family, because that is something that I've always been in, and people look at you. Why are you always smiling? Why are you always happy? You get that? You ever get that?
Yeah, all the time.
It's all about. Even I'm a clergy, but I walk into church, it's a strange church, and all of them looking like I said bulldogs, and I'm in the wrong place. I don't believe God would have us sitting here looking. Are we trying to look serious? I mean, can we be ourselves? It's important to be who we are. And like you said, even the scripture let us know, laughter is what? Good for the soul.
That's right.
That is a healing medicine. Regardless of how somebody might feel about it, the most important thing is understanding who you are.
And when you know, the pyramid says, man, know thyself.
Yes.
And when my mother was living, she said, woman, know thyself too, Marla. Say amen. My mother said, a woman. And so when man know thyself, what do? You know yourself. How do you do that? You know God.
Yes.
You know your culture. You know your purpose. You know your family. So we've got to become in the know. That's what I love about the festival. We've had some of the greatest lectures in the Montgomery County coming. We want people to know. One of the things that I say inside the word know, knowledge is know and ledge. If you don't know, you'll jump off the ledge. You know, and somebody said knowing is half the battle. So we want people to be in the know. You don't have to be that serious. You know, 2 years ago I was in London because I'm an international rites of passage specialist with my mentor, Baba Paul Hill, and I met a Queen Mother that was 85 who had 9 degrees. And it was when I saw her, she walked up to me and started doing this. I said, what's she doing? This voodoo? Honey, what did you do? I don't know you like that. She just laughed. She said, I'm passing my energy because I can feel your energy. Okay, people miss that. She said, I'm passing energy because I can feel your energy. She said, young man, don't you never stop smiling. I don't care what they say. Don't you walk in these places being all serious. That ain't working. Keep that energy. And so every day I be in the mirror, pass energy myself. Ain't nobody there but me in the mirror. I just pass energy. And I live that way literally.
Yes. I don't know what Michael Jackson was thinking about, but when he made that song, and a lot of my counseling sessions always refer back to Man in the Mirror.
Man in the Mirror.
You know, so the thing is, she going to hold up her end because we outnumbered today. She going to jump in there and talk. She's going to have to say something for the women.
You know, women are smart. We just sit back and listen and await.
Okay, but we're dealing with this, telling these people about what we're here about.
And for the women, we just want to say women in the mirror too. We got heroes, we got she-rolls, we got superheroes, we got super she-rolls. We ain't tripping. We know who you are, mother of civilization.
You talk about Margaret Peters and all over. Isn't it? I mean, I know you travel quite a bit. Why is it the richness that we have right here in the Gem City? Some of our people had to travel 1,000 miles away, and we got it right here. It's so much right here in the Gem City. If we would just, someone said, I can't afford to travel. You don't need to.
You don't. Dayton is so serious, and I know we going left to go back right, but Dayton is so serious because when you know the history about Dayton, you go back to the 1920s, we have the most inventions per 100,000 in the world. Dayton has so many inventions, and let's not talk about what's going on. We the city of fun, we a city of peace. What happened in 1995 with the Bosnian Clinton thing? See, people don't know all of this stuff. Right here in Dayton, we're the Gem City for a reason. But we got to learn that we the Gem City. It's like if you don't know it, if you don't know that you know that you know, it's always a problem. Dayton is one of the most talented cities in the world. I was in Oakland. Oakland is truly the black Mecca. It's been for years. Oakland's a black Mecca. When they was listing the top 10 cities that has some type of consciousness, right, and with commitment, Dayton was in that top 10. Now, this is Oakland where everything's black. The cat black, the pit bull black, the teacher black. I mean, Oakland, it's a consciousness that's taking place there. You know, that's why Black Panther too, you know, you're going to see some things shot in Oakland again. But they talk about Dayton, Ohio. But we don't know our history in Dayton, Ohio. And so that's one of the things that the Culture Festival is focusing on more this year. With our lecture series that we got, both days, Saturday and Sunday, we got lecture series. We bringing in brother, and I got to read it because I don't want to mess it up because Mama Renee is a 7th degree black belt, and I don't want to have to fight her because I think she know a little bit more than me. But like on the first day, August the 20th, PNC is the sponsor. They came and we're doing a ribbon cutting and a meet and greet. And what's happening with the ribbon cutting, they're changing the street or old South Orchard to John McClendon Jr. Way, which is Renee McClendon's father, who is one of the most brilliant men living, and he's coming to do a keynote.
Okay.
And there's going to be a ribbon cutting also, and we're sort of opening the festival on the 20th.
Okay.
Right? And so that's just excitement. But I say that because it's also an opportunity for 40 to 50 vendors to come at this meet and greet and let people know who they are.
Okay.
And I just talked to one of my friends, Sierra, and she like gave me like 3-4 questions because she's the one that did the thing downtown at the Levitt Theater of Juneteenth. They had 4,800 people, and she gave me 3 questions, really pushed me through it, so a vendor can come and acknowledge that they're coming Saturday and Sunday, right? So we want to find out who's in our community. Last thing, and I'll leave it alone. So my word for community in the word is common unity.
Okay.
So it's common to have unity, right? It's common to love each other, common to respect each other, common to say I love you, common to say thank you, common to say I forgive you, common to have common courtesy, and most important, common to have common sense.
Common sense is great.
And so we're really trying to bring that energy. I can see that mother put the energy out, put that energy back in our community, because that energy leads to effort. Right? That spirit of that energy leads to effort. And we just need more effort if we want to save our kids.
And it just gets on me so trouble. My wife is so bad about telling you people love her and got us all telling I love you. I even get a bill collector. I'm going to at the end of the call, I'm going to say I love you.
You should love them too.
But come on, baby, you are not going to get out of this. Not of all this talking, not all this, I'm talking to a special woman here. You going to tell us something, Ashley, about this?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer. My 4th grade teacher used to tell us all the time, if you don't know your past, you're bound to repeat it. And I really didn't understand that until I got to college, and I really got to dive deeper into, what it means to be African American. You take your elective courses, and everything that Mama Nazipo and them had taught me when I was 15 and 16 kind of just went over my head. It was like, oh, you want to hire me, make a couple dollars? I'll do whatever you need me to do. But over the years, as time has progressed, from 2006 when I started with just the youth stage with Keisha Foster and Kids Corner, and now I have worked my way up, to logistics coordinator of the entire festival, thanks to Mama Frankie, may she rest in peace. I've grown to understand, and learn more about myself, the community, and where I come from. I think it's beautiful, and I always love to, incorporate that when I'm in the classroom with my kids, and I tell them like the stuff that I do with the festival, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, then to see them come out with their families, and enjoy that day and learn something, and then they come back to school and tell me what they learned. I think it's awesome. It's a great event, and there's something there for everyone, It didn't always be that way, but we have, surveys that we do at the end of every festival, and we're like, hey, this is your festival. What is it that you want to see? What is it that you want? And every year we get great feedback, and then we just take it and we make it even better the next year. So when Mama Nazipo came up with Sankofa for the theme, this year, it was like great, because normally it's, We Are Family for the last 4 years. It's been We Are Family, which was just trying to get the Black community back together. But Sankofa is the whole picture, it's the whole piece to the puzzle. And so I loved it when she said that was going to be our theme. I was like, okay, great, let's go with it, Sankofa. So.
Mother Nazipo has been very instrumental in a lot of things.
Yeah, she's a bully too.
Yes.
Mama Nazipo is not a bully, and she is not here to defend herself.
I'm supposed to be the president. I don't think I'm the president. I think Mama Nazipo's the president. She calls any time of night. What kind of mother is this?
She is a true mother. Yeah, and Mama Nazipo ain't here to defend herself, but I'm gonna defend Mama Nazipo.
But the Sankofa is important for those that's watching, because we draw from the past, we live in the present, and we work for the future. That's what that means. That's what that bird means, and it's important. And our elders are are walking libraries. I'll be an elder real soon, about a year. And I need to be president when I become an elder. We need to take this thing apart.
You're already president.
Yeah, but seriously, yes. I mean, I love the elders. I learned. Margaret Peters told me something. That's why I'm so proud of my niece. I'm sure she'll be the president soon. But Margaret Peters taught me, Shaq, success is nothing without a successor. And she told me that, 15 years ago, and I'm always thinking, so that's why I love millennials, yes. right? I put a lot of energy in millennials. I give them every opportunity I can because I want to pass a lit torch.
Yes.
Not just a torch, not an artificial torch, a lit torch, because I expect them to grab the torch when they're ready and run further than me.
Oh, yes.
You know, I don't expect them to get with me. I made it. You know, I'm a kid with my son. Yes. I said, son, you got a lot to do. Yes. I graduated over 10,000 people. I know you ain't telling me you made it yet. You still in the Navy. You just started. You better come on. You better start reading some more books.
You better be cool,
but I want them to grab that torch.
Yes.
Right, not a baton. Baton is up to like 25.
Yes.
They say you start thinking like an adult at 25. 25, you grab a torch and run with it.
Yes.
So when you got millennials like asking, I got a lot of them. I'm scared to say their names because I love them so much. But I will mention Deja, who's a prodigy. I will mention Little Tay. We call her mother used to call her Little Tay Winston. We got some people doing some work in Africa. Chaz, raise Chaz and rites of passage. And they don't know, you know, they say don't vicariously live through nobody. Okay, well, I vicariously live around them. Keep going, keep going. I mean, young men that I've done, I just got a son. He's about to help start a festival in Maine. He graduated from Morehouse, but then he moved to California, got his PhD. Wife got his PhD. They're going to move back to his home, Maine, and want to use this same model that we got here to start a culture festival in Maine. Yes. He said, something was missing out of my life. I said, have you helped anybody anytime soon? He said, that could be it. I said, duh. You know, Sankofa, you know, that. And so he said, I told my wife, that's why. He said, I got plenty of money. He was living in Silicon Valley. Yes. You know, his wife is way up there with them. They said, no, I don't mind. I just want to be with you, my king. So he's going to move to Maine, you know, because he thinks he has to do this culture festival, which he does.
Yes.
You know, you either plant seeds or you plant bullets.
Yes.
All right, so we got to plant seeds, and that's what the culture festival. I know we jumping around, but that's what this culture festival is about. That's the energy that we're trying to bring. This ain't just do it, and then we support everything. I've been supporting Juneteenth. It's some great work just being done, right? Like people from like Kenya Baker. I mean, really, even Donald Dominique. Some great work is being done, and we just want to be a part of that. But in the end, the festival, all roads lead to the festival. I was told, and that's why this year with the festival, we're putting effort, energy, and of course, our spirit in it.
Yes, but you know the beautiful thing I like about this, we used to have family reunions in the different small families, and all of a sudden start getting away from it. The older parents was dying out, the younger people wasn't stepping in. Another thing I love about the festival and the cultured idea you're headed, more than looking at a generation gap, we're always looking at the youth challenging the elder challenging the youth. And this has bothered me for years. It should work together, not being competitive with one another.
That's right.
If competition is to join together for the common good, not as a old school, you this and this, we got this going, and the old school looking at, well, you young folks don't know anything. That's not what it's all about. It's being able to come together and to work these things out. And that's one thing I do like about the cultural and my being a newly inducted elder.
And I'm going to tell you something else happens there. I argue with a lot of millennials when they say their authentic self. And I have no problem with authentic self. But one of the things I share with them, before you get to your authentic self, be your African self. Go back to your culture. Talk about, well, not when we were slaves, but when we was builders, thinkers, when we were leaders. See, I'm my African self. And through that, I can be my authentic self. I can't be my authentic self first and then be my African self, right? And so I'm just clear that the African self, and then it allows you to be true self, authentic self, whatever you want. But know who you are. Know about the kings, Hatshepsut, and I mean, you Nzinga and Imhotep, the first multi-genius. That's why we celebrate. We've got Kwanzaa here today. We're celebrating Kwanzaa because of the principles, because of what Kwanzaa. We need to live Kwanzaa 24/7. We need to live Kwanzaa 365 days a year. That umoja, that unity, got to stick. And there's another principle added out of Cleveland, Paul Hill, which is Hashima. And Hashima means respect. You respect unity, self-determination, collective work responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Because the young kids out of Cleveland came up with, we be dissing each other, so respect. So what happened was they came up with an 8th principle. In Harambe, we know means pull together. So what you're saying, we're trying to pull it together. And, you know, one of the things, I'll let Ashley go into some of the things that we're doing, right? The pulling together is so important. We've cut the prices in half this year because of the pandemic. Because we can't let the pandemic stop us from dreaming. We can't let the pandemic stop us from moving forward in our community. We're cutting it in half. $300 for 2 days for food. I need to invest myself. Maybe I need to call. I'm thinking I'm going to invest. And then another thing, then we're doing $125 for vendors for 2 days, and we're expecting 8,000 to 9,000. You know, and so I mean, it's an excitement, and it is about community. You made me think of something. It's the family reunion, all going down that road to the big reunion.
Oh, and that's still open, is it? For how long would that be open for other vendors or new?
So the cutoff for vendors is supposed to be tomorrow if you want the 2-day pricing. However, if you contact by tomorrow or before the week is out, and you need more arrangements,
it's probably a little later on.
Then that's fine. We're shooting for the 23rd because that's the day that all our sponsors have to get their stuff turned into us as well, so that we can create the materials for the festival. So more than likely that pricing will be extended to the 23rd as well.
And we're definitely going to work with people as this goes. You know, unfortunately, there was a construction in the world, and we were late. Like, I was late today because Ashley didn't know where she was going, and I had to sit in my car and say,
That is so not true. He was late on his own account.
We're here.
But I did call him to figure out where the studio was.
You mean Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman, Wonder Baby.
Somebody told me 820 Leo Street, and it doesn't exist because it's 280 Leo. And so we were lost.
And she's educated.
I'm very educated.
But one of the things to talk about, because I guess we run out of time, one of the things to talk about, is I think we should, Ashley can do more of this, to talk about what we're doing in our different stages. Right? And so I'll let Ashley talk and I'll just jump in. She knows more than me.
Because I'm the brain. So
they run it. I just try to take some credit.
But no, so we have a variety of stages. And we were privy this year to name stages after people who have been instrumental throughout the history of us bringing the festival back 13 years ago. And so, the youth stage is my baby, so I like to talk about it first. That's where I started, up under Keisha Foster. So we actually named that stage after her, so it'll forever be the Keisha Foster Youth Stage. And it'll be sponsored by National Heritage Academies this year, which is really cool. And then later on that night, from 4 to 8, that stage becomes the Keisha Foster Millennial Stage, because the millennials in the past were like, hey, we don't have nothing. So, collabing with Vinay and Dej and bringing in DJ Schoolboy, Chris Scarborough, it's going to be really dope to continue. This will be our 2nd year doing the Millennial Stage. We got a lot of great stuff planned. And then moving from there, if you go over into the park, we have our Health Pavilion, which is named after Mama Frankie Harold. She was second mom to me. She's taught me everything I know. She was the backbone of this festival. And she said, hey, you, little girl, come here. And from there, I was stuck with her ever since. And so Mama Frankie has the health pavilion named after her because she was a nurse. She ran Mahogany's Child in the community for years under Premier Health, making sure our community had the resources that they needed to stay healthy. So we saw fit that it only be named after her. And then moving over next door to the health pavilion, we have the Mama Nazipo Glenn stage because what is African history in Dayton without Mama Nazipo, right? Mama Nazipo is the believer in everyone. Okay, she takes up for the young and the old. Okay, even when everyone is against the young, Mama Nazipo is right there like, hold on now, let's hear them out. Because there may be some rhyme or reason, you know, and a lot of things in our city happen because of Mama Nazipo.
Yes.
You know, even the RCA has made Mama Nazipo an honorary bus rider and member, you know, because of...
She used to be mine. We used to talk all the time on my bus. I went to RTA and drove for a while.
See? Yeah, and Mama Nazipo, you know, she loves the community, she loves the culture, she is the being. So it only made sense that, you know, we named that particular stage in the village after Mama Nazipo. And then on Saturday, so then we have a lecture series on Sunday. And that stage is named after the one and only Margaret Peters. One of the best lecturers, you know, the city has ever had to offer, and educators for that matter. You know, so we have the Margaret Peters lecture series.
Is there any specific subject matter the different speakers will be speaking on?
So
to give a little
it's
insight.
all about like health, preventative health care. There is education, finances, employment. They cover it all.
We cover it all.
From start to finish, everything that's vital.
And let me just add before you go on, and the person to call for that is Steve Muhammad. He's the one responsible. And another valuable person of this lecture series is Dr. Morris Brown. He's the one really took it, I think, flourishing to the next level. He had a lot to do with it up under the leadership of Miss Pate, who's the one taught me about the Culture Festival, her and Cato, but Miss Pate set me down and told me was the one that told me to keep the vision. People gonna be talking, but in the end it's gonna fall on your shoulders. So you make sure that you make the final call. Miss Pate taught me a lot. And she took the Culture Festival to the apex where they was over $100,000 a year. We struggle to make 22, but they was 100,000. But that's the great work that they did. And she also taught me, just don't make it so commercial. It need to be about culture. And that's the mistake that we made. We should start bringing in big acts. So now we try to bring consciousness in. But go ahead.
And then the cool thing is, you know, there's 2 days. So the main stage on Saturday is named after the attorney, Michael Wright, who takes over that main stage with Uncle Tommy, CEO of Owens Entertainment, who's loving the shirt I'm wearing today. But you know, they do a tremendous job bringing in not only local acts, but people from the city who moved outside the city and people who mean something to our culture. And I'll let Uncle Shaq talk about that a little later, who's coming. But you know, they take over that stage. Michael Wright is one for the community. And so he agreed to sponsor Sunday for that main stage. And then, Saturday for that main stage. And then on Sunday, we have the attorney, Anthony Vanoy, who takes over the gospel sector. He loves gospel. You know, that is his thing. He will tell anybody who will listen. He is a Christian, and you know what he believes, and it really meant something to him to be a part of the festival and take over Sunday. So Sunday, under the direction of Thomas McGuffey, who runs Sunday for me, they help bring together that main stage on Sunday, along with the lecture series that takes place in the African Village.
Year before last, I was with Brother Manoa.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
Passes all our fans. It was hot.
Yeah, he did. He gave everybody fans. I think he raffled off a laptop for back to school
the
somewhere
TV.
in there.
Yes, they did.
And a TV.
He did a laptop
gave
and a TV.
Didn't call my number.
And brought me some more book bags to Kids Corner. Oh yeah, and that Saturday we do. If you don't have a chance to come out that Friday to the McLendon Center, which is our kickoff, like Uncle Shaq was saying, they give away school supplies to about 50 kids there. But on that Saturday, we give out, 300 book bags? 300 or more book bags to kids K through high school, even kids going back to college if we got extra. So it's really a community thing, in there you find all the resources you need. I was lucky to get help from Ms. Colbert this year, Dr. Colbert. She is going to help run the Health Pavilion piece. She's getting, people in the medical field. So if you guys provide any type of service, whether it be you want to do blood pressure readings or HIV testing or anything like that, it's imperative to get a hold of Dr. Colbert because she is in charge of that particular piece. So anything health related will go through her. We do have like COVID vaccinations coming. A lot of people are scared or iffy, or some people just say they can't get to a site. So there will be a bus on deck for people to come, as well as blood pressure readings, HIV screenings, you name it, it's there. If you're breastfeeding and you're worried about missing it, WIC is usually there with their setup to moms to breastfeed and store their milk in a refrigerator. So, it really is a community aspect everyone is taking to an account as to what is going on. And there are multiple needs that can be met. You just come to the festival.
Yeah, I know Mom the Zippo, and I'm glad she said it because Mom, don't forget the kickoff. Let them know.
Don't
that was
forget
the last thing she told me. Don't forget to tell them about that Friday.
That kickoff that Friday. And it's really cool. When we started it a couple years ago, it's grown each year, but it's really cool to just sit down and share a hot dog with the elder, someone in the community. There were a lot of people I realized in 2019 knew who I was, but I had no clue who they were. And they were people I should have known. And it was just really cool to sit and share a hot dog and listen to their history and what they contribute to the community that I had no clue that I probably utilized the services or worked closely with. So it was really dope. So if you get a chance to come out that Friday, it's really more personable. I'm not running around with my chicken, my head cut off, Shaq ain't yelling at nobody. We're literally
He's not yelling?
No, not on Friday.
Not on Friday.
I'm
we
chilling.
Don't get there. I'm prepping myself to yell on Saturday and Sunday.
But, it's really a great experience. You get to see the neighborhood kids. They come over from the center. You're like, what's going on over here? And then they learn stuff. They do arts and crafts and beads and things like that. And that's the other cool thing about the village. On Saturday, you learn a lot of things. Tawanda does an art and crafts tent where
she's doing it this year with Bing Davis.
And she's doing it this year with Baba Bing. And you get to do different arts and crafts. I remember when I first got involved with the festival in 2006, we made mancala out of egg cartons and beans. And I was like, what is mancala? And then I fell in love with the game, once I understood and, knew where it came from. But it's just simple things like that. Strategic thinking with the putt-putt game that she puts out. It's brilliant. And you travel to different stops along the way in your putt-putt game. So, it's you got modern day Kids Corner, but then, in the village, you got some of everything. You got stuff for the kids, you got stuff for the elders, you got stuff for people in between. They host a fashion show in the village, which they're doing this year. And I forget the lady's name, but she owns a shop up there on Dixie. She has a grocery store, a food shop, and an authentic African wear shop, all in Dixie, right there next to the tax place. And she's doing the fashion show this year for them, and so the other cool thing about this year is we'll have authentic African food, which we've never had before in the festival. So if you want to try something new or you want that taste of Africa and you ain't had it in a while, it'll be there. It is an option this year. So we really try to piece together every component.
I know years
and
ago
put it
we had
there.
some of the Africans that had that food. Abdullah, remember years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Abdullah, they had that before. And like I said, a lot of people think this is a new thing. This is not a new thing. This has been ongoing for quite a long time. In fact, we was at Island Park years ago. Before they went down to Welcome State, and before they went, it was back. And I'm glad it's back. He was mentioning also the opening day. I don't want anybody to be confused. What location is that? It's not going to be at Island Park for the opening.
No, the opening is at McClendon Institute, 2100 West 3rd Street.
Okay.
From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Right.
You can't miss it. It's an orange building, and the streets will be blocked off.
And it'll be blocked off.
You'll see it.
What's so impressive about what's going to happen there is a ribbon cutting, because they're changing that street into her father's name.
Okay.
John McClendon III.
Yes.
They're actually changing the street into the father, John McClendon. But John McClendon III, who's the brother, is going to be the speaker for Saturday and Sunday. He's our keynote speaker.
Okay.
So it's going to be real powerful what takes place. And remember, it's also a meet and greet.
Yes.
So if you're a person, definitely if you're one of our vendors, we want you to come talk about what you sell, what's your best dish, what you do. And we want you to promote it there.
Yes.
And you'll be able to exercise that Saturday and Sunday. So Mama Nazipo's right, it's real important. And PNC, once again, I like to throw out the sponsors, because I'm going to probably need more money from them. But PNC is an active part. But let me move to Saturday, though. Saturday, we're bringing in full force and Can't Go Kid. My brother Tommy, we don't have a lot of money. So if you want to donate, you can. Okay. But we're bringing in full force, and we're kind of excited because most of them guys went on to get their degrees. That's that edutainment, education via entertainment. These guys are educated.
Yes.
They're not just, we just gonna rap. That's what my breakdown of rap, I won't break that down again. Then right before that, we're having a hip hop panel with Jay Webb, and Nikki Webb is leading that. Then we're doing MBK, My Brother's Keeper Dayton, which they're now running the Ohio office through Dayton, Ohio, My Brother's Keeper. So we're doing a launch on the stage, and we have the Office for Males of Color and the Office for Females of Color, but now My Brother's Keeper is ran through Dayton, Ohio. So we're going to talk about that. So we're doing a lot of creative stuff. On Sunday, the Preachers Forum is going on. They're going on for an hour talking about what needs to happen in this community, operational unity, what needs to take place in the community, and what is their commitment. So we're actually doing that. Elder Bird, who's a legend, he's one of the MCs for this event. So we're kind of reeling it back in like it used to be, but just keeping culture. As Miss Pate, I hear Miss Pate in my ear, keep it culture. We don't need to sell out, right? We need to sell in. And what she meant by sell in was the inside. Right? Bring out what we like. We're not competing against the other festivals, but we know everybody loves Black culture. And let me tell you, she had told me one time at the Culture Festival, they used to average 40,000 with Miss Page. We averaged by them 2 days about 18,000. 40,000. So I'm saying there's a level to go. But I think because of the pandemic, one thing that the pandemic did, it brought us closer. So when it was time to get out, they everywhere. I see them all up there. They over there. They might be out here. We don't know. But people, they everywhere. They everywhere.
They are.
Oh, look, Johnny and Boogie, them everywhere. But I'm just saying.
But COVID is not over. Okay. And we are taking proper measures to make sure there are proper hand sanitizing stations. There are certain times where the bathrooms and things will be cleaned. So COVID is far from over, but we still want our community to be safe. And so we are taking the necessary precautions still. If you want to wear your mask, please do. If you don't, because you're fully vaccinated and you don't mind, then don't. But know that there are still, safety precautions in place as well. So it is going to be a safe and controlled environment thanks to the street soldiers. We haven't had any issues ever.
Metro Police.
And the Metro Police that are there, we've never had any bad experiences or anything of that nature at our festival. So it's family oriented, it's fun, and it's going to be safe, which is a lot of people's concern as well.
And I'm wearing my mask. What my mask at? I'm wearing my mask. I'm wearing my mask. But seriously, it's going to be safe because we're definitely, we understand why that's so important.
Yes.
Right.
You know, I like to think the educational part, and I like to see how you reiterate on such. A lot of our people, I say a lot of times years ago, I used to give the seminars on writing and so forth, and would make them free. That they would be able.
I forgot a section. Oh my gosh. We are bringing in for the first time ever the Black Authors Corner, and it is hosted by pen of the writer's very own Valerie J. Coleman. And so when he said writer, that's the first place my mind went. We have a Black Authors Corner. She is showcasing 16 Black authors from pen of the writer Valerie J. Coleman. If you don't know her, look her up. If you want to get your story told, she is a self-publishing author. She teaches you how to self-publish and help you promote your books. She's amazing. That's penofthewriter.com. You can go look her up. You can go contact her if you are interested in having one of those 16 spaces in our Black Authors Corner. Because y'all know reading is fundamental. So yes.
But see, it's small. Dayton is small in a way, but we are big. Show you how small I know Valerie, because her and my sister's an author as well. Marcella Ash is another publisher. It's about 10 books. And that was something years ago that I wanted, and also we have other Black writer groups right here in Doug Toll's wife. Wow. She's been in, started her writer group several years back, and it was something we didn't have years ago. And I offer it free because I know a lot of our people could not afford it, but we had so much talent, but they didn't know how to get published. And it was such a great thing. And when I mentioned that just then, it's because the educational part. In fact, Valerie was on my shows here at DTV. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, those at home don't realize it's not just entertainment. How you call that? Entertainment. Because it is so much talent, but we don't know what to do with it. We and I say our people cannot afford the educational part of it, and that's why I had seminars years ago and made it free. But guess what? Our people didn't show up, but the place was full. We have to learn that even though those things that now like this is free, to get a start, just to understand, we cannot pay for everything. I know we like to buy the finest clothes, the name brand, and you understand what I'm saying. But what about the education part? That build ourselves, not just put a lot of money into the latest style by, what's some of those other, what's his name, name brand clothing.
You got a few of them.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
You got a few of them.
And has nothing to do with our culture, has nothing to do with our people. The money just go right at the door. And nothing coming back, I guess what I'm saying.
And recycling the black dollar.
Exactly. To recycle within the community to work. Most nationalities I know, the Jewish and the French and the Italians, they will work and buy from their people, support their organization, what we call networking. And something I'm glad that we're working more at.
And I think that's why I love Tay so much. You know, when you think about her marketplace, the entrepreneur shop, and her connection now, she's opened a third building, and it's all Black owned vendors, you know, in one space where the black dollar can recycle. And I think that is so important, and she's very passionate about that, you know, and she has a classroom set up outside her connection where she runs business classes and teaches people how to, you know, prosper and things like that. So I think that's really dope. And I think another great concept that I didn't mention is that the transition from the youth stage to the millennial stage, Dave's just bringing back that reimagining our Black community that she did on Juneteenth with a whole new set of panelists for that in between intermission between the start of you know, the kids corner to the millennial stage, and, you know, really setting the tone and changing the millennials mindset, and, you know, further educating or, you know, answering any questions that they may have, or how they see the Black community in the future. Because the reality is, like, we up next, right?
Yes, yes.
And then when we're done being up next, it's the generations that we're working with right now who have to come after us. And so I think it was the perfect transition, you know, to put that that panel right there in between the youth and the millennial stage.
Can I go back and be a nation builder?
No.
We got some great ideas, right?
And then another thing, I heard the word network. That's so important, because I tell people network mean a net that works.
Yes.
We got to get to that point. When we networking, it's good, but they got to work. Yeah. Like I tell them, safety net, we need safety nets that don't have holes in them.
Okay.
Right, and so we got to have networks and safety nets in our community, and we've got to become builders. It's amazing when I work in other communities. I won't put no community on the spot, but I work in this one community. I am always blown away when I work with these young people, because these young people are thinking from here up, not here down. We're talking about playing basketball. They talking about owning the basketball team.
Yes.
We want to play on the playground. They want to own the land where the playground sits.
Yes.
And that's the mentality. That's why edutainment is so important that we got to get, right? Because we got to get that mentality. We got to take what's ours. And by taking what's ours, we start where? In our community.
Yes.
We don't even own our community. My big brother, the Dean of Street Psychology, who's a good person to bring to the show, Alfred Coates Powell, had a song, "The Owners of the Ghetto Live in the Suburbs." and it's so true, because we don't really control our own community.
Right.
Hopefully the Culture Festival and the work that Tay is doing, and the TJ, you got some other names out there doing, Nye, you know, hopefully the work that they're doing, it will open that where we will first take ownership of our community. It's not a sin to take ownership of your community. It's not a sin to own the land in your community. It's a sin not to. It's a sin not to allow people to come in and take over the community and sell stuff to you, stuff that you should be selling. So then the problem with that, if you don't take over your community, now you're begging. Now you have a welfare mentality. Not talking about the people that can't do different. I mean, you know, I'm talking to people who can. But you have a welfare mentality. No, the festival said no. Bring your ideas, bring your creativity. Let's become a family, because if we become a family at that festival, when we leave that festival with that calendar and what business is here, what business is there, that's why the kickoff is so important, because people need to know that y'all are out there, and we need to support y'all. Every culture supports itself except us. You know, my mother told me when I was a kid, she said, "Marlon, we the only ethnic group that don't teach y'all to be better than us." I had literally 303 spiritual sons.
Okay.
And I'm not perfect. I made a mistake about a month and a half ago. Right? So make mistakes. But I tell them, you're supposed to be greater. You're supposed to be better than me. And if you're not doing more than me, then I must have failed you. And so when we get these young people, the millennials and dreamers, you know, we call them the warriors, the elders, and the nation builders, that it is a responsibility for us to change what's the word, narrative that I can say, narrative, the narrative, to change the narrative. They change so many narratives. How many narratives do they have to change? But change the narrative, right?
There's a lot.
You know, we used to say, what is it, pendulum swing? It's a pendulum, all of these words. Okay, but actually change the narrative. And the narrative that she's right has to be changed. And that's why I'm just an advocate for listening to young people. I just think they are so magical. They have the answers that we don't, because I do believe that God talks to the ancestors first. The ancestors talk to the elders. The elders talk to the parents. The parents talk to the teens, all the way down to the Watoto, which the children. So this means that the Watotos have to listen to the preteens. The preteens, the teens. That's how you build. There has to be something in place to make that work. That's why our African self is so important, because Africa was about community. It was a family communal thing. It was about the community. And we got to get back to that. Because
it still is. It still is. You know, I had a friend, I have a lot of African friends actually, but you know, to listen to them and how they do things back home in Nigeria or Ghana or Ethiopia, you know, I'm just like, wow, like life would be so much easier if we followed that principle. You know, like one of them was like, when you have a baby, you go back home, you know, and that grandma teaches you everything you need to know to raise that, you know, that child, and you can go be on your own after, I think it's like 1 or 2. But you know, I'm like, I wish I had that, you know, like, and I understand like different circumstances. You know, my mom has Alzheimer's, so obviously she can't do that, or she probably would. But you know, it was just like the principle, like if we could go back, you know, and really sit down with our grandparents and, you know, our parents, and just be able to be like, okay, and then pass that on to our kids and really know our history, and not just be like, well, I think so-and-so did such and such, but I'm not sure, so let me go look it up. I can't find it, but I think that's what it was, you know, but to really know, you know, like Mama Ope, I feel like she's our griot, because she knows everything.
She really does.
And she, you know, she'll be like, you know, and your grandpa, and I'll be like, how do you know my grandpa? Like, he wasn't my grandpa, but he's my great grandpa, you know, Bishop Ralph Bass. That was my great grandpa. But like, when I talk to them and they tell me stories about him, and I'm just like, wow, he's an amazing man. I guess I ain't too far off from the tree. Like, you know, but these are stories that I don't necessarily always hear. You know, I know he founded Bethesda. I know, you know, some of the work he did, but like to hear other people tell me like how he impacted their lives when he walked into their house. You know, just things like that. It's just like really dope. It makes me understand my purpose more, you know, because I'm like, am I different or am I not different, you know?
Or we strange.
Or we strange.
Yes.
We're strange, yeah.
According to society, we're strange.
You know?
But you know, I wanted to share before I know we're getting closer to the end. I might be going over my time, but being where my ears and being clergy myself, there's so many of them out there that look at what you're doing. Not everybody, not calling any denomination, as being some type of a religion or cult. And the thing is, what I think they really need to know is so many different church denominations that are involved. It is not a religion, it's not a cult. It's not, and many times we have people right today in the 21st century think Kwanzaa is some type of cult. They don't really understand. So it's important to come out and learn. That's the most important thing. Come out and learn. Gossip is cheap, and most times most uninformed. Right?
Right.
But,
no, you hitting something now.
Yes.
Don't make me shout.
Shouting time, we only have a couple minutes.
I'll shout after. But one of the things, it's funny how we worry about Kwanzaa, maybe Kwanzaa's a cult, but we say nothing about Hanukkah. And my Jewish friends, Hanukkah means everything, right? But if people just knew our history, when you talk about like Mayat, which is truth, justice, and righteousness, and you talk about certain churches that always support me, you know, I think about Mount Eden. A young pastor came in here. I needed help them first years of the festival. He came and he preached, got on stage. I think about Elder Steve Sauce. I think about, of course, my church family, Omega Baptist Church, Pastor Paul. I needed 400-500, I didn't have it. The people in my group didn't have it. So you got some churches that understand how important it is, but not enough. I shouldn't have to beg to raise $22,000 for 2 days. I don't get paid. She doesn't get paid. My brother Tommy, very instrumental, Tommy Owens, don't get paid. We go out and beg. We shouldn't have to beg, but you know what I've learned? And I hear Queen Mother told me, as long as I'm there, I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do if I have to spend my own money, right? Because this is so important. But the prayer is, you know, prayer without faith is dead. We know that. The prayer is that more people will listen, like the Van Noys did, like Michael Wright, who really stepped it up. Dr. Morris Brown. We don't really have the resources
National
that
Heritage Academy,
PNC. We got some people that said, yeah, we believe in y'all, because it ain't about us. You know, that's what people got to understand. You know, it's not about us. I mean, like us, me and her. It's more about we. It's about the community. You know, and that's why this is so important.
And you know something? I know you thought it was going to be a long time, didn't you? We're at the end of the production. Would you like to summarize something in about 1 minute? Because we got started late, that the clock is off. Praise God. So if you'd like to summarize something and at home, tell them what you said in one closing minute.
Yeah, so the kickoff is the 20th, the McLendon Center. You know, the 21st and the 22nd are both at Island Park of August. If you are interested in being a vendor, call 937-715-5121 or send an email to daacf937@gmail.com. So that's the acronym for the Dayton African American Culture Festival, 937@gmail.com. And we will give it back to you. I do have a day job. As you heard, I am a social worker, case manager. So if I don't get back with you when you call at 10 o'clock in the morning, just bear with me. I'm off work by 3 and I got you. We will make sure you secure a spot because we are about the community. We want you there. So just give me a little time, have a little patience, you know, and we'll get you in there.
And host for the KISS production is not up for grabs. Should be hosting it, right?
Yes, you already right. I have no real power here. But I would just say Harambe, pull together, and Ubuntu. I am because we are. Nothing else to say.
Yes. God bless you. And here you are, kids. Keep it simple, sir. Have a blessed day. You heard it here. Look to see you at the festival this year. And each succeeding year, we look for you. May God bless you. May heaven smile on you is our prayer.
Hey!